Welcome. My name is Natalie, and this is Flamin' Hot Reviews. Today, I will be taking my first deviation from the standard Flamin' Hot line of products. Today, I will be reviewing Taco Bell's new taco sauce flavored chips, specifically the fire sauce kind. These say, I knew I was your favorite on them, because fire sauce is my favorite. And I figured that these were the closest of all of the flavors to the regular Flamin' Hot Cheetos. These are actually, in case you don't know, they are a sort of Doritos-like chip that is supposed to, at least in theory, taste like the Taco Bell sauce that they are named out of. So today we'll kind of be testing that out, how do they stand up to the sauce, how do they even stand up against regular Doritos, and also how they sort of compare to your Flamin' Hot products, is it worth even trying them over, say, regular Flamin' Hot Doritos, which, don't worry, I will be reviewing eventually in the future. So for now, let's go ahead and jump right in and see how they are. So I'm gonna go ahead and try one. Okay. So the first thing that I want to touch on here is actually going to be the spiciness. I know normally that's not usually what I talk about first, but I actually think that is kind of the most prominent feature. Actually, it's kind of still hitting me. Is the spiciness. It's some spicy foods, they have this sort of, well, they're kind of like a spider in your mouth, which I know does not sound good, but bear with me. What I mean to say is that the spiciness kind of lurks, it's like a creepy crawly. It hides in your mouth, and you eat more chips, you eat more of the spiciness, and then out of nowhere, it hits you, and all of a sudden your mouth's on fire, and you were lured in this false sense of security here. But with these chips, it is not like that at all. This is an immediate punch, an immediate kick. You take a bite, and you are feeling that spiciness, and like, it kind of is worn off now. So this is really like you take a bite, you take the chip, bam, your mouth's on fire, you're feeling it, and then it kind of washes away. And I actually really like this. I like this quality. It kind of creates this, like, every chip is kind of like an experience, When you are eating, say, a regular Flamin' Hot product, or even just any other spicy chip sort of snack, a lot of times you don't really think about the individual snacks that you're taking, right? At least in terms of the spiciness, because a lot of times the spicy kind of just levels out. But this one, it's like every time you take a bite, it's like a pop, pop, pop of spiciness. And so that's kind of fun. And I think we're gonna get our first rating here for the spiciness. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 5 out of 5. I think it's very solid, very deserving, perfectly spicy, exactly what you want to see in a spicy chip. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and try another one here. Kind of want to get like a smaller one. All right. So the next thing I want to touch on, and this is probably where I'm going to really start to dislike these chips, is the texture. As I'm eating the texture, it's, when you eat a regular Dorito, it's so crispy and light, and really not getting this with these chips. They have this like flatness to them. It's kind of like, it's like when you're sitting at home and you really get that craving for chips, you really get that craving for snacks. So you go look in your cupboard and you're not finding anything, and you dig around and you find this like third of the way full bag of like party Doritos, and you're like, yeah, I'll eat these. But then you're like, wait a minute, weren't these from that beach trip that I went on a month ago? And you're like, yeah, those are probably stale. And you try them and you're like, yeah, they definitely are stale. But you know, you just eat them anyway. I mean, sure, you could go down the street to the gas station, but like you haven't taken a shower yet today and you kind of look like shit. And you're like, I don't know if I want to go out in these clothes. I mean, yeah, it's just a gas station. Nobody's really going to care. But like, you know, you have this weird like, I don't know, I just can't do it. So you just eat the chips. You plop yourself down, you bite into them, they're stale, they're kind of cardboardy, they're weirdly cold, but like, they're not bad, you know, it's not what you were looking for, but really what you wanted was something just easy to eat anyway. You're really thinking about flavor. I mean, that's kind of what these chips are, all rolled into one experience, and it's really not that great. What's kind of weird about it to me is that Taco Bell has a brand deal with Doritos. I mean, they have the Doritos Locos Tacos. Why did they do a different chip? I don't quite understand. So that's a little strange for me. I'm not really sure on that. And I think that part of it has to do with the way they're cooked. And I actually want to compare this to some regular Doritos. So I actually came prepared. I have some standard Doritos here. So let me show you what I mean when I say like the difference between the chips. So if you take a regular Dorito and you kind of like break it in half, it's kind of hard to see and I don't want to like freak my camera out. But basically you can see that the chip is covered with all these bubbles. You see all that? And that creates airiness. That creates lightness. When you bite into it, it's crispy, it's light, very nice experience. But when you're looking at one of these chips here, let me see if I can find like a good example. They've got like some bubbles, right? They've got some level of bubbling here. You know, you see a couple, but you compare it to the Dorito. It's a lot more prominent on the Dorito. And I think that's because when Doritos are made, they're cut into shape. They're mainly made out of corn. There's some flour involved as well. They're cut into shape and they're deep fried and they're baked. It's a very specific cooking process. So my guess would be that when it came to the Taco Bell chips, for whatever reason, they went with a sort of like different design. They went with a different like way of making the chips. And I think this was a mistake. Not a good idea. Just something about it. They're almost like stale. Not good. So texture for me, gotta be a 2 out of 5. I mean, they're crispy. They still have a nice crunch to them. They got that going for them. But like, I want this spiciness, this flavor dust on a Dorito, not on these chips. So speaking of, however, the flavor and the flavor dust specifically, that is what I want to move to next. Because I mean, really, at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, right? To see if the fire sauce chips taste like fire sauce. So I actually have some packets of fire sauce here, as you can see. This one also says, I knew I was your favorite. Totally coincidence. This fire sauce has actually been sitting in my fridge for at least a year now. So I like to think that this has probably been aged to perfection. I mean, this is like some peak fire sauce here. So we should really get some good results from this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna eat this packet of fire sauce, and then I'm gonna eat a chip, and we're gonna see how they compare. So get ready to watch me eat a packet of sauce. Okay, so you know, sauce on its own, it's pretty spicy. It's hitting me. It's got a good flavor to it, you know, taco sauce. It's definitely not meant to be eaten on its own all in one gulp, but that's the show. I'm doing this for you the viewer. I hope it's worth it. Now let's go ahead and try a chip. Let me find another good one. Don't want anyone that's too huge, just enough to get a good taste, you know? Let's see. All right, here we go. Okay, so eating these back to back. You know, I gotta say, the flavor, honestly, pretty close. Like, seriously. Especially, like, with the spiciness, too. Fire sauce is the exact same way with the spiciness. Hits you, bam, it's spicy. There's no lingering. There's no like, it doesn't drag out, bam, hits you. So that's like spot on compared to the fire. Flavor, it's a little more subdued, which compared to the sauce, which isn't a surprise. I mean, this is straight up liquid flavored sauce, you know, and this is just like it turned into dust, sprinkled on a chip. So that's not too surprised to be a little subdued, but honestly, it's pretty damn close. And I have eaten a lot of fire sauce on my Taco Bell, and having it on a chip, it's pretty good. My only concern is it's just like, you're eating the chip, why wouldn't you just eat like a regular taco flavored chip? Like, yeah, you get the spiciness you don't get in this, but I just feel like there's some better options. So I'm gonna give the flavor a 4 out of 5 because it is close. It's very, very close, but I don't know. I guess to kind of conclude, in an all-together package, it's got the spiciness, it's got the flavor, but that texture, that rough texture really brings it down. I'm really sad to say. I feel like these are like this close to being good. They should have just put the dust on a regular Dorito. So I guess to recap, given the spiciness, 5 out of 5. Texture, gave it a 2 out of 5. And we have given the flavor a 4 out of 5. So hopefully this review is helpful to you. I know these are kind of a newer product, so you know, if you weren't sure whether or not you want to try them, I mean, I do recommend them if you're like a Taco Bell fan. You know, if you're not super into Taco Bell fire sauce or mild sauce, you know, you could probably give them a pass. But hey, let me know in the comments below. You gonna give these a try? You gonna leave them on the shelf like a 2-year-old packet of sauce and sitting in a Tupperware container in your fridge? Let me know. And also, if you really did enjoy this video, please consider giving it a like or even subscribing. If you don't though, I'm probably still gonna keep making these videos, so no pressure.